So last time we saw that how to find out the settlement due to primary consolidation. And next we are interested in finding out the time required for this settlement. And if we know, let's say it is going to take n years for this total settlement, then we can know that how much is going to be the settlement in 1 year. So these kind of questions we are interested in. So for that we need to find out the rate of settlement. And from our earlier discussion, let's say this is the soil sample and here is the water table, and if there is some additional applied stress sigma, so at time equal to 0 this additional applied stress sigma is equal to change in or increase in pore water pressure. And now if this pore water pressure is allowed to drain out, then only after some time t, after a long time t, this increase in stress or increase in pressure will be reflected in the increase in effective stress. So only after this pore water drains out, then only effective stress increases. Effective stress increases, it means that the particles come closer, and particles come closer, that means the settlement takes place. So from here we can say that settlement can only happen when this pore water pressure drains out. So from that, rate of settlement is proportional to rate of dissipation of pore water pressure. So as soon as the pore water pressure dissipates and the soil will be settling. So rate of settlement is proportional to rate of dissipation of pore water pressure. So we need a theory which relates that any time t, what is the excess pore water pressure, and similarly at any location, let's say z, what is the excess pore water pressure. So we want to know the relation of time and pore water pressure and depth and pore water pressure. So this was solved by Terzaghis one-dimensional theory of consolidation. So let's discuss that. And he made some assumptions. So here are the assumptions. First is compression and flow are one-dimensional. So as we said that area is very large compared to the depth or height of sample, the height of the soil layer. So the compression will be happening in the vertical direction, and similarly flow is also happening in this vertical upward or downward direction. Next is soil is homogeneous, and after that soil is saturated. It means that all the voids are filled with water, and if the soil is not saturated, that means if air is there, then the behavior will be different and it cannot be discussed with this theory. So but this is the only part which is there in our syllabus. And next is soil particles and water are incompressible. So for most of the part, water is incompressible because it does not compress even at very high stresses. But the soil particles, so if it is coarse grained soil, that in that soil particles are not compressible. But if it is clay soil, in that soil particles have some compressibility. But why are we saying it that it is incompressible? Because the compressibility of these particles compared to the compressibility of the soil mass as a whole is very less. It means it won't matter if we say the soil particles are incompressible, because the compressibility of the soil mass as a whole is much large. So we are interested in the compressibility of this soil mass as a whole. So this is this assumption, and after that strains are small. That means that change in thickness is small. So even if we are talking about this vertical change in thickness, this is also we are saying or assuming that it is small. Why we are saying? Because only with this assumption we can say that coefficient of permeability and coefficient of compressibility are constant. Because if the change in thickness is very high, it means that void ratio is changing, and if void ratio is changing, and obviously void ratio will be decreasing, and if void ratio is decreasing, it means that the coefficient of permeability is decreasing, and similarly coefficient of compressibility is also the ratio of void ratio divided by effective stress. So if it is decreasing, that means the coefficient of compressibility is also decreasing, but in our case we take these two as constant, so it is only possible when strains are small, that means the change in thickness is small. Next is a unique relationship between void ratio and effective stress. So this is that unique relationship, that is coefficient of compressibility is given as minus dE by d sigma. So this is the relationship. It means that AV is constant, and it follows this relationship where void ratio will be decreasing with the increase in effective stress, and after that no secondary consolidation takes place. So secondary consolidation takes place at constant effective stress, and in our case in the soil mass, as I said, if we apply this stress, so this pore water goes out, and because of this pore water the effective stress will be increasing at different points. So it is not constant in the primary consolidation time. In primary consolidation the effective stress increases, whereas in secondary consolidation the effective stress becomes constant. So we are just taking that no secondary consolidation takes place. So the solution, or should I say, let's say first that he took a soil something like this, that of 2h depth, and above this is clay, and above clay it is sand, and below also it is sand. So it is sand on the top and below. It means that water can drain out from the top as well as from the below, because the permeability of sand is very high compared to the clay. So whatever water is there, whatever, it will drain out easily from top as well as from the bottom. And so the solution of this equation, this is, we are defining a depth z from the top. So the Terzaghi, so there is one whole derivation how he came to this equation, but that derivation is not important for our purpose. So he gave this equation, the relationship that we want, it is given as this. So we wanted a relationship which relates pore water pressure, time, and pore water pressure at any depth. So it is the depth z at any depth z. This is the excess pore water pressure, and this is the pore water pressure at any time. So this is our required relationship, and here CV is coefficient of consolidation, and its value is given as CV is equal to K 1 plus E naught upon AV gamma W. So here K is the coefficient of permeability, and it will be of vertical direction because the flow is only happening in the vertical direction. AV is the coefficient of compressibility, and E naught is the initial void ratio. So CV is having, it is not non-dimensional, it is having a unit of meter square per day or meter square per second, whatever is the unit of time. And apart from that, CV depends upon increase, or I can say change in pressure or change in effective stress. So CV is not a constant, but we take CV as constant. So how are we taking it as constant? Because for a considerable range of pressure or change in effective stress, what will happen? Let's say there is a change in effective stress of sigma, and so because of that, coefficient of permeability will decrease because the void ratio will decrease, and similarly AV will also decrease because of the increase in effective stress. So it means that K upon AV, K and AV both are decreasing, but their ratio is more or less constant, and other things are constant already. So because of that, for a considerable range of pressure, CV is taken as constant. So the solution of this equation is given by, or I can say the mathematical solution is given by the Fourier series transform, but that is not at all necessary for the competitive exams purpose. So we need to understand the boundary conditions which are there in this case. So that's, I'll talk in next video.